Today's coding vlog will be about how Kindle Comic Converter 7.5 added Kindle Scribe 2480 support 2.5 years after the Scribe's release. So let's quickly go over what is KCC. It's an app that optimizes black and white comics and manga for e-ink e-readers like Kindle, Kobo, Remarkable, and more. Pages display in full screen without margins, with proper fixed layout support. Supported input formats include JPEG and PNGs, in folders, archives, or PDFs. E-ink optimized image processing can dramatically decrease file sizes, improve battery life, page turn speed, and general performance on underpowered e-readers with small storage capacities. Alright, so the Kindle Scribe was released on 2022, November 30th, so it should be an easy change, right? Just add the profile into the app. It's 1860 by 2480, should just be a simple change, one line. But nope. People noticed the problem pretty quickly on 2023, January 18th. They noticed that the final output files, the images were not having 2480 height, but instead it was 1920 height. This is pretty unexpected. So let me just quickly demonstrate the difference between 2480 and 1920. So let's start off with this test image that's 2480. I'll zoom in. This is what the original looks like. Pretty sharp and clean. And this is what it looks like after it's been downscaled by 1920 by Kindlegen. Can you see the difference? This is really sharp, and this is a little blurrier. Let's go to a different section of the image. Really sharp 2480 original, slightly blurrier 1920 Kindlegen downscale. If you're on a smaller screen, let me just zoom in all the way. 2480 original, and a pretty blurry 1920 Kindlegen downscale. Yeah, when you zoom in all the way, the difference is very apparent. Alright, so what's the problem, and why is 1920 the limit? Well, KCC works by creating a fixed layout EPUB that is converted to a Kindle format, Mobi/A2Z3, using a public Amazon proprietary tool called Kindlegen. Kindlegen will downscale any images larger than 1920. This was never a problem before, because no device ever had such a high resolution as the 1860 by 2480 Kindle Scribe. And the biggest problem is that Kindlegen's downscale is really blurry and slow. It could take like several minutes to do a single conversion, compared to 1 minute if it didn't have to. So here's the temporary solution that I merged on 2023, April 23rd. It's a lot sharper and faster than the downscaler. All I did was change the resolution from 1860 by 2480 to 1440 by 1920. So this skips the Kindlegen downscaling step, so it's a lot faster. And it's a bit sharper too, but we really want it to be but it's still not as sharp as we want it to be. So here's the real solution, 4 lines of 63 changes. This was done on 2025, June 12th. And here's 4 important lines out of the 60 lines I changed so far. And the basic idea is, if you see an image that's larger than 1920 pixels tall, then crop it into sections at the 1920 intersection. So basically, and then you stack them together. So yeah, you just split up an image into 2 pieces, and as long as each piece is not longer than 1920 in any direction, then that's all good. And then you just do a little bit of extra code to make sure that there's no space in between the 2 images. So let's just go over the summary. All important features work, including sleep covers. The problem, the Kindle Scribe has a height of 2480 pixels, but Kindlegen's limit is 1920, so images are always a little blurry compared to native resolution. So how do you overcome this limitation? The key idea: instead of using a standard fixed layout EPUB where one image is one page, instead implement the alternate fixed layout EPUB where you can have multiple images per page. As long as each individual image is less than 1920, Kindlegen is no issue. So you just stack 2 images on top of each other. That's basically the whole idea. Implementation-wise, this was difficult because all code assumed 1 image per page. If you look at the recent Git commits master, you'll see many of my commits doing an enormous refactor to account for this change. This took several days between experimentation and testing. This is by far the largest feature I've ever worked on for KCC. And yeah, let's just go over the timeline. 2022, November 30th, the Kindle Scribe was released. 2023, January 18th, the downscaling issue was noticed. In April 23rd of that year, we just switched KCC to handle 1920 downscaling for sharper images and faster conversions. And 2025's June 12th, have KCC crop images into sections so you can enjoy the full 2480 resolution. This took 2.5 years to realize, but once you figure it out, then it's actually not that hard. And yeah, cool. If you like this sort of content, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you feel generous, please consider donating on Ko-Fi. It's taken a lot of my time and energy to make KCC as good as it is today. I've been working on this for years, and I'm also looking for a software job in the USA. Let me know if you have any interesting leads. Even getting interviews is difficult. And quick tip, try disabling image darkening with gamma equals 1.0 if you had previously used auto. Things are much sharper, so darkening is less necessary. And let's just go over some quick photo comparisons of a real Kindle. On the left is before and after. You can really see the details of the character's eyebrows and the lines in her eye. It's a blurry mess before when it was at 1920, but it's super sharp at 2480. Same thing here. You can just see so many details that you couldn't see before. And especially if you're looking at text, especially white on black text, it's so much easier to read at full resolution. And this character's helmet is shaded. The shading is just so much sharper and not a blurry mess like before. I also have a deeper video comparison if you want to see more pictures of a real Kindle. But yeah, if you enjoyed this sort of content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.